So today we're looking at House Labs by Lady Gaga. And I have to say, this is one of the most incredible email design systems that I have ever seen. Over the last year, they've sent out about 160 emails and they've used only 5 blocks in building out those emails. So I'm not counting the footer, so maybe 6 if you want to be pedantic about it. But 5 individual blocks that they kind of, mix and match and use in different ways, restyle just slightly, but all of it, the skeleton is just 5 different blocks and it is crazy. This really shows you what's possible if you think out how you want to design your emails and you build a system around stacking those different blocks. It becomes essentially endless possibilities and you can make as much money as you want. So let's go ahead and dig into exactly what they're doing, and we'll talk about the specific strategies that they're using or the system that they've implemented behind it that makes it probably way easier for them to launch 12 to 15 emails a month than it does for you to send 4. So first off, the thing that you're going to notice here is that none of these are art projects. They all feel like exactly what needs to be said is being said and nothing more. The reality is that the goal of a design system is actually to create a visual language that your customer is going to understand. We don't want to be super creative and over the top and crazy when the goal is scalability and actually driving revenue and performance. Because the reality is that yes, those emails are beautiful. You might get so you might win a design award or something like that, but design awards are not money in the bank. And so at the end of the day, you really are trying to balance the scale of efficiency, your ability to actually put content out and to actually get customers to take the actions that you want to. And a consistent design language is what's going to help you do that. Because nobody, if they speak the language, they automatically know what you're saying, and you're getting them to take that action that you want them to take. So even just by looking at what I have up right now, you can already see the themes of Lady Gaga's actual emails. So there is very little deviation from this core concept of hero image, product features, close. They are very straightforward, very product focused, very application or result focused as well. As you'll see, there's a lot of aspirational images on here around the makeup looks that people are getting from these different things, or it's very texture and visceral in terms of how they're showing what's actually in there. You can see here with the it being squeezed, or like the powder here. So the hierarchy always stays the same, and as you look at these hero images, there is almost zero variation in these different images. So every single one of them, you might end up with a little bit of text over it in some places, but the reality is that every single one has the House Labs logo on the top, and then there is an image of either product or a model all the way across. It might have a little badge for something like that. But every single one is product or model or product and model. And then the only variation that you ever get in here, which in my opinion does not really change it, is just adding some text. So you might get a little bit of a, shade spotlight, bio rating, you have the title here. But even then, the way that they handle their text is exactly the same across it. So this is the same text style. It might be a little bit change in size and whatnot, but if they have the subheader and kind of like the H3 there, if we find another H3, let's see if we can find an example of that. Here we go. It's the same kind of theme. They use the same horizontal line. They maybe change up the hierarchy there a little bit, but everything is exactly the same. And this is how you get efficiency, is that you're just looking for an image. You need to know what this is, and your designer knows exactly what to make every single time. Next is the copy block. So you can see this is another pattern that I really like, that I've seen a lot of big brands do. The first one that came to my mind is actually Yeti. Yeti very consistently has a hero image and then the same copy and CTA block right below it. And look at this. Every single one, exactly the same CTA, also using, we're using whatever the core CTA is, but that's primarily Shop Now. But all of it, text size is the same. We have one that has an H2. This one has kind of an H1 here. But really, it's always the exact same style. Oh, we have a subheader. That's crazy variation for something that they're doing here, right? And if that's the crazy level of variation you're getting in your system, that's really, really good from a systems building standpoint. And so now going a little bit deeper, as we look through this, there really are only 3 or so other blocks that they are using. Okay. And one of them I will call essentially a product feature block. Okay, so that would be something where you have a singular product like this, and you have that product as a core image. You have a description and a CTA. But honestly, you could even say that this is just a variation on the hero and copy block theme. Because this pretty much is a hero and copy block because it looks exactly the same, other than having its own little title here. So you have that, and then another variation you have is what I would call like an image and CTA. But again, how much different is that from these? Very little, right? And then another one, it would be this whole information, copy and image and CTA all in one block. So we find that in a few different areas. But again, the way that they do this, you'll see, is very similar across the board. So it's left aligned copy and CTA, right aligned image. I think they alternate that up here somewhere. Where did I just see it? Where are you? Here we go. This is the similar type of thing. You have the copy on the left and primary image on the right, and then it's alternated. You can see that back and forth here. But these are all just very, very basic blocks. Nothing outside of the ordinary. Nothing that is going to, this takes a designer 30 seconds. At the end of the day, it takes longer to find the photo than it does to actually put this block together. And so you're massively cutting down the amount of time that you actually put into building these emails. And something that I think is really interesting is that, we're looking at 2025 here. So this is all last year, but going into the previous year, 2024, you can actually see that there was a little bit more going on in some of these emails. It still was following a similar pattern, but you'll see that there was a more frequently used variation of blocks in here. A lot of this seems like week in, week out, there was a lot more going on. You have this skincare meets science, you have this crazy block here that's a little bit more advanced. But as you get into this last year, it's actually quite a bit more tame. They got rid of all of that. And what the reality is that everybody is crunched right now. We're crunched for budget, we're crunched for time. Everybody needs to do more with less. And so that's when you start to eliminate the extras that, is this block right here, supercharged by science, is that really doing more than this block? And, arguably it's not that much harder to put together that other block than is this one. But to be fair, I think this one is actually more clean. This one looks more visually appealing and is more kind of streamlined in how it presents the value proposition of that particular product. And so what we're starting to see is, kind of the simplification of email, in my opinion, and the brands that are going to be winning across the board going into 2026 and next year, especially as AI starts to emerge as an actual viable option for email design, are those that are going to have structural rules in place like this, because this is the type of design system that I could train an AI on. You can give them these emails and give them this visual language and structure, and if they have the right type of library and the right amount of examples, these are actually emails that AI can build. And so that's really where we're getting in this process, is that the more solidified your system is, the more easy it is to reproduce, the faster you're going to be able to scale, and the more emails you're going to be able to get out, and the more specialized emails you're going to be able to get out. So when I'm talking about getting more emails out, I'm not necessarily saying like you need to blast 35 emails to your whole list every month. What I'm thinking, though, is this gives you the opportunity to be more calibrated with the messaging for certain segments. So being able to then put together an email that is for a segment that's smaller, because the economics actually work out for you being able to spin up an email for a segment that is less than 10,000 people or something like that, just because they're a high value segment and you want to hit them with very specific messaging. So with that said, this is an incredible example if you want to go in there and start developing your email design system and your actual structure around your emails. This is a great example to kind of start studying. The other option, of course, is always to reach out to us. I'm happy to do an audit of your email design system right now and show you where you can start to build out the different blocks that'll help you scale into the future. We offer those audits all the time. So if you just jump to the Flow Candy website and book a call with us, and we will go through it together. But otherwise, until last time, I hope this was helpful, and we'll chat soon.